Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Julie Mann, and I show men and women how they can live healthy, happy, sustainable lives by changing their habits and using cutting-edge products to help them age well. And I'm really delighted because today I'm joined by a copywriter and funnel builder, and his name is Stephen WanyaMaWi. Did I pronounce that correctly, Stephen?
Yep.
Fantastic. Oh my goodness. So Stephen is actually going to talk to us about healthy habits in regard to goal setting, aren't you?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to hand straight over to you.
Well, hey everyone, I'm going to talk briefly about my goal setting habits. Now, goals and habits are basically the two sides of the success coin. My worthy goals provide a sense of direction, and my effective habits provide me the mental discipline to achieve those goals. Now, you've probably heard of SMART goals, goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time limited. I don't really do SMART goals. I set my goals so that I can grow from them and not necessarily to achieve them. So a realistic goal won't help me stretch that much. You see, for me, there are three different types of goals. Airtight goals are the things that I already know how to do. So if I've earned 10K in a month before, I already know how to do it. It's a matter of replicating the process. B-type goals are the things that I think I can do. So perhaps I think I can earn 15K in a month, which is more of a SMART goal to me, realistic. Now, C-type goals are the things I don't know how to do. So instead of going from 10K to 15K, you want to go from 10K to 500K. And you have absolutely no idea how to do it because it's not a logical or smart or realistic goal. You see, it takes the same amount of effort to program your mind to achieve a small goal versus to achieve a larger goal. So my thought process is, if it will take me 90 days to hammer an idea into my mind so that I bring myself to the same frequency with that idea or goal, do I want the goal to be something ordinary that I already know how to get, or do I want to go very big? So if I actually want 50K a month, what I will hammer into my head is something like 500K or 5 million pounds. In those 90 days, if I can convince myself that making 5 million pounds is very doable, then it becomes very easy or effortless to figure out how to earn the 50K in the first place. Because I have now brought myself new awareness that 5 million pounds is easy to earn, so the 50K is really a simple thing to do. Remember, this stuff is all in my head. I'm fighting the little voice that is telling me, perhaps try 4K first before the 50K. And this little voice is very logical, it's very rational, it's got thoughts. Because you can just go back to memory and say, last time you said you were gonna do that and you didn't do it. How am I supposed to trust that you can get to the 50K? So my trick is to suppress that little scared voice. So for 90 days, I just keep hammering in my head that I'm already making 5 million pounds every month. So this is how we do it. When I'm setting a goal, the minimum amount of time I allow is 90 days because I know I have to remove my self-doubt first. That little voice inside. So I write down the goal with the end in mind. I write down the goal as if I've already achieved it. So on the first day, I make sure I ask myself, how would I feel if I was making 5 million every month? Well, I'll be so happy and so grateful. And so I write down, I'm so happy and so grateful now that I'm making 5 million pounds every month effortlessly. Now, this will be my main theme for the next 90 days. I make sure I write that down at least 1,000 times in one sitting. So yes, it takes me anywhere between 3 hours and 5 hours for that first initial sitting. So I'll just pick a day and dedicate at least 6 hours to just writing down the same thing over and over and over again. Now, why do I do this? Again, it's about developing the habits that will take me towards achieving the goal. It puts me in a sense of urgency. Now, a sense of urgency is being able to automatically figure out those projects in my daily life that are goal achieving and which call for immediate attention, and then acting on them until they're successfully completed. Now, the more I keep hammering the 5 million pound goal in my head, the more ideas I start to see in terms of the how. Again, sense of urgency, I have to make the most out of my time. So as the ideas are coming in throughout the 90-day period, I'm writing them down. Maybe I could write a book. How much will I sell it for? How many copies do I need to sell to get to 5 million pounds? Then I plan things that I can work on or think about while I'm waiting around and toying with a 5 million pound income idea. If a book is one of the many ideas that come to mind, I describe the project and choose a completion date. If it's selling a course, maybe I describe the project and choose a completion date. Of course, I'm throwing out ideas that I'm not aligned with or those that could be unethical. So you probably don't want to spend a lot of time describing a possible project of how to rob a bank to get the 5 million pounds. Those kinds of ideas will come too. I mean, there's 1,000 different ways to achieve almost anything. The principles are the same. In my case, I've chosen to pay more attention to those ideas that help me get to the £5 million in the most efficient way possible, while helping the most number of people get what they want. So I basically create an illusion with my imagination as to why this project must be completed in a minimum amount of time. Then I write out my imaginary reason, getting as emotionally involved with it as I possibly can. I write down every solution that comes to mind, setting how I will get the project successfully completed by the chosen date. Now, I write down those goal-achieving activities that need to be done as they come to me, and then I plan my day tightly. Norton Parkinson once said that work expands to fill the time allotted. So if I give myself a lot of time to complete something, it will more than likely take me a lot of time to do it. So I focus on my productivity, and then I carry my urgent project list with me at all time. I call it a goal card. I review this card as often as possible, and I make sense of urgency as a habit. Now, just to go back to the beginning of the goal setting process, when I spend so much focus on just one thing, I kind of program myself for a week in that initial 4 to 5 hours I spend writing down that goal. You see, most people are easily distracted. They cannot complete a single task for 2 or 3 hours straight. But when I simply do this once, I send my daily habit routine into such a shock because it's thinking, well, you just spend the same amount of time you sleep on this one thing. This thing must be important, which means tomorrow we make sure you do the thing again. That's the subconscious doing its thing now. And that's how I get the initial motivation for the next day and the third day. By the time my usual habits are screaming at me, because they will, it's all paradigms, I've interrupted the pattern so much that now, after a break of a day or two, I'll still want to repeat the same thing all over again and make sure I complete the entire week. And once I do it for 90 days straight, the habit is now formed. I've gotten past the initial threshold, and now we just keep narrowing down the goal according to what project I described is laid out. Then I repeat the 90-day cycle again. Only now I'm not focusing on the £5 million in general, but more specifically, how many pages should I be writing every day to make sure I complete my book by the urgent deadline that I set. So basically in 1 year, after 4 of these 90-day cycles, usually I've made more progress than most people. And that's how I keep growing, by using these goal setting habits on a daily basis. So that's it for now. Thanks for the time, Julie.
Wow, Stephen, that's amazing. I love the fact that you mentioned that little voice in your head, because of course everyone will be familiar with that and know what, you know, that what it can say to sabotage us. One of the things that you said was that you take 4 to 5 hours writing your goals. Now there will be some people watching who's going, you know, Stephen, I don't have 5 hours. I get up early. I've got children. You know, I'm exhausted by the end of it. So what would you say to them?
Well, the 4 or 5 hours, you don't have to do it every day. This is not a day-to-day thing. This is for the first day out of the 90-day period, because, you know, there are old habits that I need to get rid of to get me into that module of persistence. So if this is for my case, if I spend the 6 hours, the one sitting, you know, the next day, you know, writing the goal down for 30 minutes won't seem such a task, because, well, yesterday I did it for 6 hours. My mind is thinking, well, I can do it for 30 minutes. And that's how I sort of trick my mind into, you know, keeping up with the, you know, throughout the 90 days, because, hey, 6 hours, 4 hours, it's a long time. Yeah. But, you know, I'm thinking here, I've put myself against the wall and I have to do this. So, you know, for me, it's not really a problem. You know, I just sit down and do it. Then every day I'm listening to audio tapes and, you know, spending 30 minutes to an hour writing down the goal over and over again.
Right, I'm glad you clarified that. And also, it's about priorities, isn't it? So if someone sees making more money and having more money, basically so they can have more choices and help more people and, you know, spend the time with the people they love or whatever it is that people are looking for, then making that 5 to 6 hours to plan it and really kind of embed it by writing it down. You were saying like 1,000 times works for you.
Yeah, well, that's because, you know, we spend a lot of time in school taking down notes. So, you know, for me, that's already programmed in me, you know, at least 18 plus years of schooling. And, you know, a lot of that is writing stuff down. So if I'm using the same principle, my brain is already used to the writing. So I think I take it up easily. I don't know if it works for people who probably didn't take a lot of notes in school, you know, but it works for me and I find it very effective.
Fantastic. So for those of you that have only just met Stephen on this video, then I absolutely recommend you check him out. So I'm going to put all his links below. So thank you ever so much for watching and listening. And thank you so much, Stephen, for those absolute gems.
Yeah, thank you so much, Julie, for this.